Students, so till now we have seen total 4 questions, that is what is microprocessor, its function, then evolution of microprocessor, then we have seen microcomputer based system, and then we have learned CPU architecture. So again we are continuing with the same chapter, that is chapter number 1 of computer science 2. So the next question from the same chapter is explain the functions of ALU with simple block diagram. Draw a neat label diagram of generic ALU and explain its working. Explain organization of ALU with the help of simple block diagram. So basically these 3 types of questions are there, but the answer for all these 3 questions is same only. So the neat label diagram of generic ALU is given in the slides. Normally one part which we have seen in CPU architecture, that is first we are having ALU, arithmetic logic unit, to which the temporal register and accumulator is connected, right? So now we have same diagram only, but ALU is again consisting of so many components, so that we have shown in this diagram. So basically the background diagram is same which is present in CPU organization. That is ALU is there and ALU is connected to the temporal register and accumulator, and again accumulator and temporal register are connected to the internal bus lines. Okay, so now ALU again is divided into 3 sections. The first part is status register, then we have adder, and then we have shifter. So whenever we want to perform so many operations related to arithmetic such as addition, subtraction, increment, decrement, complement, on logical operations such as perform logical AND operation, logical OR operation, logical XOR operation. So to perform all such operation, these 3 components are important. So this is the generic block diagram of the ALU. So whenever you will be having question, that is write a note on ALU, in that case you have to explain this. First draw the diagram and then explain these 3 components. So this is the description about ALU and its component. The arithmetic and logic unit is 8-bit unit. The arithmetic and logic unit performs operations such as addition, shifting, that is left shift, right shift, or rotation, that is also called as. Then if you want to compare the values of the register, then that comparison operation. Then if you want to increase or decrease the value of a register, so that is increment and decrement operation. As well as arithmetic logic unit is also responsible for the logical operations such as AND or XOR. And this thing about the arithmetic and logic unit we have learned so many times, right? So the same description you have to write everywhere whenever there is a question based upon arithmetic and logic unit. And very important thing, that is this particular unit is 8-bit unit, means it can perform the arithmetic operations or logical operations on the 8-bit data. Then there are 3 components, main component. Other than that there is a temporal register and accumulator is present, but the main 3 components, and these components are new for you, because still whatever we have learned we don't have these 3 terms. So basically ALU contains the first element, that is adder. So adder performs arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, increment, decrement, etc. And the final result of all the operation is fed into the accumulator via internal data bus. It consists of binary adder to perform addition and subtraction by 2's complement method. So basically not addition, but whenever you want to perform the subtraction, by default it uses the 2's complement method. In the next chapter, when we are going to learn the instructions related to addition and subtraction, that time it will be clear to you. That is what is meaning of 2's complement, which we have already learned in 11th standard, how to perform the 2's complement subtraction. So in the same way, by default microprocessor performs the subtraction with the help of 2's complement method. So basically first element is adder, which perform arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, and increment, decrement, and the result is finally fed into the accumulator via internal bus line. Next element of ALU is shifter. Shifter basically performs logical operations like rotate left, rotate right, etc. So shifter means whenever we are having total actually 4 instructions which are associated with the shifting, that is RLC, RRC, RAR and RAL. So all these 4 instructions are there which are basically we are using to perform the rotation operation. So we can rotate the data towards the left side also and towards the right side also, but only by 1 bit. And again, after performing the rotation operation, final result is stored inside the accumulator. As this thing we have already learned, that is accumulator is very important register, because whatever operation, especially if you want to perform any operation on 2 data, then 1 data has to be present inside the accumulator, and for to store other data, second data, you can make use of any temporary registers like B, C, D, E, H, L. Okay, but after performing an operation, the final result is stored inside the accumulator. So that is shifter, which is used to perform the right rotate or left rotate operation. Then the third element of ALU is status register, which is also called as condition code register, which actually consists of group of individual flip-flop. Last year we have seen flip-flop. So basically when you want to perform certain operation, we set the value, or depending upon the result, the flip-flops are set. Okay, so status register is nothing but a condition code register which contains group of individual flip-flop that can be set or reset based on the conditions created by the last ALU operation. So whatever operation we perform in the ALU, depending upon the result of that particular operation, this particular register values are set and reset. Set and reset means we are storing the 0 and 1. Then the next component of ALU is temporary register. As I told you, whenever we want to perform any operation, that will be performed by the ALU, and the operation on which we want to or the data on which we want to perform the operation, so that particular data is stored inside the temporary register and the accumulator. So temporary register and accumulator, both the things are equally important. So temporary register, it is used to hold the data during the arithmetic logical unit, and the final result is stored inside the accumulator. So this is about arithmetic logic unit, which is again very important question. Then the next question which we are having, again very important question. Draw the diagram of CPU registers of Intel 8085 with function of each register. So basically whenever you are having question on CPU register, then the specific diagram which is present in the slide is very compulsory for you to draw. So just see the CPU register diagram. Total we are having 6 rows, out of which starting or first 4 rows are divided into 2 sections. So here the calculation is very clear, that is each and every row is 16 bit. Okay, so as we are dividing first 4 row into the 50% division, it means what? The first section is 8 bit and the second section is 8 bit. So at the end the total should be 16 only. So now just see the first row. The first row, first column contains PSW. PSW stands for Program Status Word. These are nothing but the flags. In 8085 we are having total 5 flags, and as we mentioned here, that is PSW is 8 bit register. So remaining 3 bits are actually empty, or we keep those bits for the future use. So PSW is nothing but the program status word, which is a flag register, and this particular portion we are going to learn in detail in further section. So the first part is the accumulator. The second part of first row is accumulator, which is again main register. Then we have the different register which I have already announced, that is we are having BC register, DE register, HL register. So these are nothing but the secondary register, or we can say that the temporary register, which we use to store the 8-bit data. So whenever we want to store 8-bit data, we can use any single register from this 6 register, and whenever we want to store the 16-bit data, then in that situation we are going to make use of pair of any of these 2 register. And it is again very much clear that we are having the fixed pair only, that is B register is pair with the C, D register is pair with the E, and H register is always having the pairing with the L. So B, C, D, E, H, L all are 8-bit register which are used to store the data temporarily while performing the execution. And then the next register which we are having, that is SP, which is 16-bit register, which is called as stack pointer. And the next one is PC, program counter. Stack pointer means it contains the memory location of the currently executed instruction, and PC is nothing but the register, 16-bit register, which again contains the memory location, but of which memory location? The instruction which we want to be executed next. That's instruction memory location is stored inside the PC, that is program counter. So this is the CPU registers. Again, further I have given the description about the CPU register. So first one is accumulator. So accumulator is actually denoted with the A alphabet. So A stands for accumulator, which is one kind of primary register, because whenever we perform any operation, the final result is stored inside the accumulator only. So it is very, very important registers. After that, what are then in the question, last question actually, we are having functions of accumulator. So basically accumulator is used to perform arithmetic and logical operation. It can be used as both primary source and destination register. The final result of operation is also stored in the accumulator. All the data transfer between the CPU and input-output devices are performed through accumulator. Many memory reference instructions move data between the accumulator and memory. So basically these are the functions. That is, first function is accumulator performs arithmetic logical operation. Second function is we can use the accumulator as a primary source and destination source. What is meaning of this particular sentence? So primary source means sometimes whenever we want to perform the addition, one data has to be compulsorily stored inside the accumulator, and to store the other data we can make use of B, C, D, E, H, L, any one of the register. So here one data out of two is compulsory for us to store the inside accumulator. So it means we are using the accumulator as a primary source. And sometimes what happened, we perform some operation somewhere else, but the result then we move inside the accumulator. So now in this situation we are making use of accumulator as a secondary source. Means actual data is not stored inside the accumulator. We are moving the actual data from some other register inside the accumulator. So in that situation we are making use of accumulator as a secondary source. But most of the time whenever we perform any operations, the final result is stored inside the accumulator only. After that, third function which they have given, that is all the data transfer between the CPU and input-output devices are performed through the accumulator. Whenever we want to transfer the data between CPU and input-output devices, that data has to be passed through the accumulator only. Then the next thing is, the next function is many memory reference instructions move data between the accumulator and the memory. Memory reference instruction means we are having LDA instruction, STA instruction. So in this particular type of instruction, we always use along with this instruction memory location. So the final operation, as in the name LDA and STA, A is there. So A stands for accumulator. So these are nothing but the memory reference instructions, and because of which the data is finally moved from the specific memory inside the accumulator. So that point they have given, that is many memory reference instructions move the data between the accumulator and the memory. Means sometimes final result is stored inside the accumulator, and I don't want the final result inside the accumulator. I want the result in some temporary register. Then we can move the data from the accumulator to the temporary register. Then the next next part of CPU register is the general purpose register. So as we have discussed, we are having some other registers like B register, C register, D, E, H, L. So all these registers are nothing but the temporary register, but they are having one more name, that is general purpose register. So we are having the fixed pairing, that is BC with D with HL. So these are the fixed pairing, and when if we consider this register on the single hand, means if we are considering only B register, then it is 8-bit, but when we use the B and C pair, then it will become 16-bit register. So most of the time whenever we want to perform the addition of 16-bit number or subtraction of 16-bit number, in that situation we need to make use of register pair. Then if we consider, like in all the register, accumulator is important one. Like if we consider the pairings, that is we are having BC pair, DE pair and HL pair. So in the pairing, HL is very important pair because we are having so many instructions which directly work on HL. Like we are having LHLD instruction, then we are having Alexa instruction. So all these instructions directly work on the HL pair. So we are having so many instructions which are related to the HL pair, but we don't have any instruction which deals with the only with the DE pair or only with the BC pair, but we are having so many instruction which deals with only HL. Okay, so HL is very important register pair among all this register pair. So few instruction uses BC and DE register pair as an address pointer, but normally they are used on general purpose data register. These are the programmable, means programmer can load the data or transfer the data from this register. So it is possible, that is we are having the instruction with the help of which we can store the data inside this register, as well as we can retrieve the data from this instruction from this register. Then the next part is program counter. So it always points to the memory location of the next instruction to be executed. The instruction which we want to execute next, its location is all previously stored inside the PC. So it always contains 16-bit register, and it always have not data, but it always contains the address, memory location. It always contains 16-bit address of the memory location where the next executable instruction is stored. The microprocessor uses the register to sequence the execution of instruction. Actually, why we are having PC, that is program counter register, that from the content of this register we will come to know that the instruction which we want to execute, so which one is that instruction. So from the memory location is stored, so we will just see the memory location in the mnemonics table, and then we will come to know that which is the respective instruction or the next instruction which we want to execute. So if we are having address, then and then only we will find the instruction. So basically PC is auto incremented after a particular instruction which are fetched by the MPU. There are some instructions like push and pop which we are going to learn. In such instruction, actually program counter is automatically incremented and decremented because of the operation of such instruction, push and pop, that we will learn later. Then the next element is the stack pointer. It is a special purpose register which always point to the top of the stack in a RAM. So actually this particular definition is difficult. In simple word, if suppose we have executed some instruction, so the last currently instruction which we have executed, the memory address of that particular instruction is stored inside the stack pointer. So basically it contains the memory location of the instruction which is currently executed, latest instruction execution. So for that purpose, for storing the address of such instructions, we are making use of stack pointer, which is again 16-bit register. With the help of incrementer and decrementer, the stack pointer is decremented each time when the data is pushed. Again I am using the same, that is just now I told you the two instruction, that is push and pop. So with the help of this instruction, again we can increment and decrement the content of stack pointer too. Then the last type, that is last part, is actually it's not the last part, but it is the first part of our diagram, that is PSW, program status word, which is nothing but the flag register. So that we have elaborated. So normally during the exam you will be having separate write a note on flag register. So whenever you are having the question, that is write a note on flag register, CPU register means the previous diagram you should draw, and flag register means the diagram now which is present in this slide, that you need to draw. So basically flag register is 8-bit register. So we have created total 8 boxes, and we put the numbering on the boxes as D0, D1, D2, D3. So D stands for actually data. So data bit number 1, 0. So from 0 to 7 we are having the numberings. So basically we are having total 5 flags which are present in 8085 microprocessor. So the first flag, just start from D7. The first flag is S. So S stands for sign flag. Then we have Z flag. Z stands for 0 flag. Then we have AC flag. AC flag stands for auxiliary carry flag. Then we have P flag. P stands for parity flag. And then we have CY flag, that is carry flag. So basically, this particular, whenever we perform any arithmetic and logical operation, on the basis of result or on the basis of execution of the instruction, this particular flag register is set or reset. So when the sign flag is set, so basically whenever we get the result as negative one, that time the sign flag is set. It is very clear, that is after the execution of arithmetic and logic instruction, if the most significant bit of the result is 1, most significant bit of the result is 1 means most of the time we are getting the negative number. So whenever we are having negative result, then this particular flag is set, because on 8085 microprocessor we don't have the symbol negative. That is, if the answer is -5, so it will not show you the answer -5, it will show you 05 only. But when we see the register, and if this particular flag is set to 1, it means the result which we got, that is negative result. So sign flag is set in that situation when we are having the most significant bit, that is MSB bit, as a 1. Otherwise it is set to 0. Then the next flag which we are having, 0 flag. So whenever we are performing arithmetic and logical operation, and after performing the operation, if the result is 0, means the final result which we got inside the accumulator, that is 0, then this particular flag is set, that is 0 flag. Then the next thing is we are having auxiliary carry flag. Basically, again in case of arithmetic operation, when the carry is generated from the bits D3 and D4, if, or in simple words, if D3 and D4 is having 1 as a value, means D3 and D4 contains the carry. Okay, so in that situation, this particular auxiliary carry, that is D4 bit, is set to 1. So auxiliary carry means when the D3 and D4 bits contains 1, so that is nothing but the auxiliary carry. So in that situation, the D4 bit will be of the flag register is set to 1, otherwise it is set to 0. So basically this particular flag is automatically set by the system or automatically set by the compiler. The programmer is not having any right to make the changes. Means by using the programming we can set the 0 flag, or we can set the sign flag, or other flag we can set, but this particular flag is not possible, or it is not available for the programmer to change its value. Then the next flag is parity flag. So parity flag means actually if your result contains even number of 1, means suppose you got the result as 3. So 0 3 means what is the binary value of 3? 0 0 1 1, right? So in the result we are having 8-bit result, so 4 times 0, and then that is a binary value of 0, and what is the binary value of 3? 0 0 1 1. So the final result is 6 times 0 and then 2 times 1. So now in the result we are having 2 ones. So 2 is even number or odd number? 2 is a even number. So whenever your result contains even number of 1, okay, then this particular bit is set, that is parity bit is set. And by default actually we are having even and odd parity, so the processor follows by default even parity. So whenever we are performing any arithmetic and logical operation, and in the result if we are getting even number of ones, then the parity flag is set, means its value is set to 1. And then the last flag is carry flag. So carry flag means whenever we want to perform if we are performing the addition, so if I want to add 17 plus 19, so first what we will do, we will add 7 plus 9, so in that we will get the carry, right? Because the answer is 16, so we will write as a result 6, and then we will have 1 as a carry. So whenever we are performing the operation, and if we are getting the result as carry, or if we are having the carry while the calculation, then this particular tag is this particular flag is set, that is carry flag. So I am just reading the description, that is this flag is set if the carry produced by the most significant bit. So now just I told you that is in between it is generated. But suppose if you are having 97 plus 9, so 7 plus 9 when we perform, we got the 16 answer, so we have just written the 6 and then we have 1 as a carry. And now the first number is 97, so 9 plus 1 is 10. So in that situation 0 we will write, and as we are performing maximum 2-bit addition, but we got the result as 3-bit, that is 106. This answer we got. So as we are performing 2-bit addition, but we got the result as 3-bit, so that the first most significant bit of the result, that is 1, is considered as a carry. So in case of 8085 microprocessor, as we all know that 8085 microprocessor is a 8-bit microprocessor. So whenever we are performing 8-bit addition, means suppose I am adding 8-bit number with the second 8-bit number, and after addition of this number, if we are getting the result as 9-bit, so that 9th bit, or that is the first bit which we got, that is most significant bit, we will not be able to store inside the register, because all the register which we are having, they are 8-bit only. So it is not possible for us to store the 9-bit value. So the most significant bit is not displayed, as we are having only 8-bit register. So that particular bit is indicated by setting the carry flag. So if we are having carry flag, means there is one more number, that is we got extra bit addition as a result. Means in the result, as we add 2 8-bit numbers, but we got the result as 9-bit, so we are having carry, that is extra bit is there other than the 8 bits. So it indicates that. So basically whenever you perform arithmetic logical operation, whenever we are getting the carry, then the carry flag is set. So this is again very important question about the flag register. So you just need to draw the diagram and do the labeling as I have given. So just remember that in flag 8085 we are having total 5 flags. The flag register is 8-bit only, but we are having only 5 flags. So means we are using only 5 bits out of these 8 bits, right? So remaining 3 bits are empty, or we can say that they are kept for future use, like that. So on the basis of this also you are having the fill in the blanks, that is how many bits of flag register are kept empty. So 3 register we are not using, so 3 are always kept empty, means we set the value of these 3 registers or 3 bits, that is D1, D3 and D5 as 0 most of the time. Okay, so this is your CPU register. So here we have learned 2 questions actually, CPU register as well as flag register. So whenever you are having the question during the exam, just read the question carefully, that whether you are having write a note on CPU register or whether you are having write a note on flag register, because in CPU register you also need to include the flag register, but whenever you are having question only based on flag register, then you have to draw the diagram which is present in current slide and explain all the 5 register as given in the textbook. Okay, now the next question of today's lecture, that is explain the function of following units of microprocessor 8085. Means as we have seen one simplified block diagram which I have given you as assignment. So in that diagram we have seen all these components, that is we are having instruction register, instruction decoder is there, then we are having temporary register. So these are the actually units of microprocessor. So most of the time you will get question as explain the functions of following units of microprocessor, and if they want to ask this question for 3 marks, then there will be 3 units will be given, like you will be having only instruction register, temporary register, increment and decrementer. So like that also you will be having this question for 3 to 4 marks. If the question is for 4 marks, so definitely you will be having 4 units or 4 elements will be given, on which you just need to write the description. Okay, so the first component is instruction register, that we have seen in CPU register. In CPU organization diagram, instruction register basically stores the first byte of the instruction, that is opcode, which is transferred to the 8-bit instruction register. So instruction register always stores the opcode, that is first byte of instruction which we want to execute. Next, the content of instruction register are in turn available to the instruction decoder. And as we have seen in the diagram of CPU organization, instruction register is connected to the instruction decoder, and then the instruction decoder is connected to the control and timing session. So definitely the information which is stored inside the instruction register, that will be given to instruction decoder. So what is main function of instruction decoder? Instruction decoder will convert that information which is normally present in the hexadecimal format to the binary one, and then it sends the information to the control and timing unit. So the same thing they have given, that is the content of instruction register are in turn available to the instruction decoder, and the output of the decoder gated by timing signal controls the register, ALU and data address. So the result from the instruction decoder is sent to the control and timing section, so because of which timing signals are generated. Some of the time, because of the data from the instruction decoder which is received by the timing and control unit, we need to set some control, or we need to send some signal to the specific register also, so that we need to use. Again, we need, sometimes we need to send the information to the ALU, so that again we can use, so that ALU can make use of that particular information. So the output of the decoder and internal clock generator produce the state and machine cycle timing signal. So here in a microprocessor we are having one concept, that is machine cycle, that is how many time it requires to execute the instruction. So whatever information which is sent by the instruction decoder to the timing and control unit or control section, then timing and control section just analyze that particular information which is given by the instruction decoder, and with the help of that particular information or the decoded result, it actually produce the state, and it actually help us to determine how many machine cycles we are going to use. Sometimes we need only one machine cycle, sometimes we need two machine cycles. So machine cycle count is calculated with the help of the output of instruction decoder. Then the next element is temporal register. Now just we have seen temporal register are used to store the data during the execution of arithmetic and logic instruction. This register is used internally, and so it is not available to the programmer. So this is internal register, by the microprocessor only it is used, so we cannot make any modification. Then the next one is the flag is one of the temporal register only, because there are some flags which we are not able to use or set by using any instruction. Then next one is increment or decrement. So incrementer or decrementer is a 16-bit special purpose register. It is used to add or subtract 1 from the content of the program counter and stack pointer. So whenever we perform actually push and pop instruction, whenever we execute these two instructions, that is first one is push and second one is pop, so that time the content of the program counter and stack pointer is automatically incremented or decremented. So why those values are incremented or decremented after performing push and pop operation? For that, which register are responsible for to perform such operation, incrementer and decrementer registers are responsible. They actually increment and decrement the value of stack pointer or program counter on the execution of push and pop instruction. So next one is serial input output control. Most often input output devices work with the serial data in a transmission. The data is always transferred from one end to other end in the serial format, in a sequence actually. So the most 8085 processor has 2 pins to implement the serial transmission. So whenever we want to connect the devices, or whenever we want to send the data in serial manner, then there are 2 pins of the 8085 microprocessor which are used. As I told you, that is 8085 microprocessor is having total 40 pins. So out of those 40 pins, 2 pins, first pin is SID, that is serial input data, and the second pin is SOD, that is serial output data. These 2 pins are used for the serial transmission of the data. So it is very clear that a serial input means whenever we are taking the input from the input devices and we want to transfer that input data to the processor, then in that situation we will make use of SID pin, and whenever we want to send the result from the processor to the output devices like 7-segment display, so in that situation we will set or we will make use of this pin, that is SOD pin, serial output pin, okay, of the microprocessor. So that is serial input output, which is used for serial data transmission. Then the next component is multiplex address or data bus buffer. Now we have learned that is address bus and data bus. So basically we are having 2 types of buses, address bus and data bus. So actually we don't have total, means In simple words, as we have already learned, we are total having 8 data buses and 16 address buses. So we don't have total 16 plus 8 8 buses. 16 plus 8 means 24. So we don't have 24 pins which are given or which are allocated for the bus lines. We have only 16 pins which are allocated to the bus line. So the address bus which we are using, out of those 16 address bus, 8 are used as a data bus, and that is totally depending upon when we set a particular value of the register, then and then only it is possible. So multiplex address bus means this particular type of buses are bidirectional buffer. 8-bit bidirectional buffer means we are having total 8 data buses which are bidirectional in nature. So data buses are named as D0 to D7. So basically, as I told you, we don't have total 24 bus lines. We have only, or 24 pins of microprocessor are not assigned to the address buses. Okay, we are having only 16 pins. So now we need to use these 16 bits as an address bus as well as a data bus. So the numbering for this 16 pins for the bus lines is start from A0 to A15. So out of A0 to A15, A0 to A7, these 8 address bus are sometimes used as a data bus. Okay, and whenever we want to make use of address bus, then we will make use of all the 16 bus line, that is A0 to A7, because address bus basically used to carry the address, and address is always present in 16-bit format. Its size is 16-bit, so for that purpose we need to use address bus only. And data, normally 8-bit data only we are having, because 8085 microprocessor is 8-bit processor, so we need to handle only 8-bit data at a time. So for that purpose, means whenever we want to handle the data, we need only data bus which are bidirectional in nature, and we are having address. Whenever we want to carry the address, then in that situation we have to make use of address bus, because address bus are 16-bit and the data and the address is also 16-bit only. So that they have given, that is from A0 to A7. These are the address buses which are used as a data bus also. So they are called as multiplex address.